Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and on the Book of Boba Fett, from the desert comes a stranger, Cad Bane, a bounty hunter from Clone Wars, Bad Batch, the comics, and now perhaps the most chilling badass to strut into Star Wars live action in years. Whether you have watched all the animated episodes he has shown up in, or you might just be doing some last minute brushing up to sound like an expert to your friends, no judgment, there are questions no one yet knows the answers to about this guy, except me, because I'm a self-described genius who's never wrong. I'm gonna explain the full history you need to know about Cad Bane, why he is so important, and really regardless of how much an expert you are on him, all of our questions really start with this one line that he sneered at Cobb Vanth.
Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire.
Someone's here to make friends. Yeah, this from the same killer who just said,
I'd be careful where I was sticking my nose if I were you.
This pot is calling the kettle noseless. Cad Bane's disgust with working with the Empire is the most fascinating takeaway here. Because like Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Black Chrysanthemum, every bounty hunter, he too has a rich history of dealing with multiple sides. Whoever pays the best, regardless of the Alderaanian blood on their hands. Was Cad Bane just playing to a desert town on an Outer Rim planet known for its recent anti-imperial sentiment and the way they cheer like the bar reaction meme when the second Death Star exploded? Or could something new have happened to Cad Bane in these intervening years that we have not yet seen? A new chapter of his backstory that we may see in the finale episode, or since all these shows are blending together, really, any of these Grogu and Friends spin-off seasons. Hey, by the way, if you want to hear me talk about this stuff live, New Rockstars is doing a live show in Chicago, February 11th, 8 p.m. Talia Hall. Ticket info is in description. It is so exciting to be at a place where New Rockstars can do this kind of thing. And if you come, you may get a chance to get some free New Rockstars merch, like the shirt I'm wearing. Otherwise, you can go on over to newrockstarsmerch.com and get yourself one of these, this exclusive Boba Fett Hunter design. And if you get this, you will get the bonus option of writing a custom shout out that will appear in our Star Wars after shows. Okay, Cad Bane. Cad Bane is a Duros race, and Dave Filoni initially based him on Lee Van Cleef's angel eyes from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, thus the irony of giving him these fiery, demonic eyes. He's voiced by Corey Burton, both in animation and now in live action, Burton being a longtime Disney voiceover artist. He is equipped with LL-30 pistols, weaponized van braces, hover boots, and these breathing tubes that connect from his back into his lungs. And it's not because he needs these to breathe normally in different atmospheres. This is really a measure to prevent him from getting force choked. Like Mandalorian armor and gadgets and gizmos, this guy has an experience getting entangled with Jedi warriors and knows how to handle himself around them. Cad Bane's relationship with Boba Fett actually comes from an unfinished arc in Clone Wars 6th season when he was going to team up with the young Boba Fett after the death of Jango Fett, who is Cad Bane's colleague back in the day, but Cad would have ended an insurrection by Boba Fett, would have ended in a duel between the two that dented Boba's helmet. That dent is still visible throughout these episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, prominent from the very first episode, so I assume this duel will be confirmed as part of their canonical backstory, and may be restaged in the final episode. But Cad Bane was first introduced all the way back in 2009, Season 1, Episode 22 of Clone Wars, part of a multi-episode arc that chronologically later picks up in Season 3, when Cad Bane took hostage of senators on Coruscant in order to free Zero the Hutt.
I got business with the Senate. How about you fellas step aside?
On your knees. Raise your hands. Slowly.
Son, I wouldn't be so hasty if I were you.
During this arc, Cad's droid gang actually kidnaps C-3PO for scans of the Senate building that he ends up delivering to Jabba the Hutt on Tatooine, who tells him to free Zero the Hutt so that Zero can't give the Republic dirt against the other Hutts. And then Cad takes Zero to the Hutt homeworld of Nal Hutta, and then ends up in a conflict with a Jedi, offers a deal to them to deliver Zero back to them, but he ends up escaping thanks to his trusty techno service droid, Todo 360. Maybe we'll get to see this guy in live action too, or maybe not. Hold that thought. Thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-proportioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. They make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. This Valentine's Day, skip the crowded restaurants and eat at home with a delicious 3-course meal featuring a starter, scrumptious sides, and a decadent dessert. HelloFresh has more 5-star reviews than any other meal kit because the food is delicious. Here's a little HelloFresh hack. Increase your box serving so the same amount of cooking will leave you with some leftovers to impress that special someone for lunch the next day. HelloFresh's pre-proportioned ingredients mean there's less prep for you and less wasted food. I recently cooked up a HelloFresh meal, so savory, all the taste buds were activating. It was super easy, not too much cleanup. I didn't even have to think about it. So go to HelloFresh.com and use the code Rockstars16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. Cad Bane returned in a Clone Wars Season 2 arc in which he worked with Darth Sidious to track down Force-sensitive children in Sidious's plot to create an army of Sith spies to overwhelm the Jedi. This guy kidnaps babies out of their cribs! Cad Bane also returned in the Season 4 arc, joining Separatists to try to assassinate Chancellor Palpatine. If only he was allowed to finish the job! In 2017, Cad Bane actually came back briefly in the Darth Maul comics in an arc that was set all the way back before Phantom Menace, a plot to kidnap the Jedi Padawan, Eldra Cadis. Doesn't matter how old or young, this guy's gonna snatch your kids. Bringing us to last year on the Bad Batch, Cad Bane kidnaps Omega for the Kaminoans after beating Hunter in a duel in episode 8. Every time this guy comes back, he always introduces himself with the brim of his hat lowered. Then in episode 9 of Bad Batch, Fennec Shand intercepts him.
Fennec Shand.
Hello, Bane.
You got no business messing with my score.
You of all people know it's all about the price.
They fight, and Fennec messes him up pretty good, allowing Omega to escape and end up back with the Bad Batch. Now we should acknowledge that the reason Cad Bane was initially hired by Kamino, and the reason they wanted Omega back, was that she was actually a very valuable genetically altered Jango Fett clone, making her a kind of clone sister to Boba Fett. So, with Cad Bane now on Tatooine, facing a conflict with Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, it's very possible that this whole history with Omega, Boba Fett's clone sister, could come up. And we might actually see a live action cameo of Omega, who, like Boba Fett, does have a thing for riding Rancors. Now, the arrival of Cad Bane in live action could simply mean a reunion of these characters, or the return of other famous bounty hunters like Bosk. But this episode placed so much emphasis on Cad's seething rage. He's an older, wearier gunslinger, like Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, like he's got a personal score to settle. He says,
Tatooine belongs to the Syndicate. As long as the spice keeps running, everyone will be left alone.
Now, it looks like the Pike Syndicate is the authority that takes over right after the Empire collapses. In fact, in episode 3, the Pikes wear this new sigil that was not in the animated series. It looks like it is at least inspired by the image of the Death Star exploding. So it makes sense that Cad Bane is now with this Empire-hating Pike Syndicate. Now, of course, there are all kinds of reasons to hate the Empire. They were all about genocide. But I wonder if Cad Bane might have personally suffered or witnessed a more recent Imperial war crime, like the Night of 1,000 Tears we just saw on Mandalore, or Palpatine's scorched earth contingency plan of Operation Cinder. Something that could have taken from him his beloved Toto. His little droid too! We also saw the close-up of his boots. Looks like he might no longer have his hover boots. Perhaps because he might have had to burn those, escaping some fiery disaster. Or perhaps between his experience with Sidious and his later gig with the Kaminoans might have helped him connect the dots to whatever secret cloning plot Sidious is still part of in the shadows of this universe that makes Cad Bane's lingering anti-imperial saltiness especially fresh. Cad Bane's anti-empire line is just one little wrinkle among many that now stretch his withered face, suggesting there is more complexity to this character that they plan to explore. So pop this guy in the back to tank, as we got some inner scars to heal. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, bye bye!